Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Jealousy. Mine, not hers. It has been said the Filipinas are very jealous of their men. You've probably seen some videos on YouTube about that. And that's a good thing. But I've noticed there are certain ways I exhibit jealousy towards my Filipino wife that I don't think are a good thing. I wanted to tell you what they are, because it is possible after you marry your Filipina, you may have similar tendencies. So I wanted to warn you in advance. And since I had been alone for 30 years prior to marrying her, here are the two things that I was jealous of that should not be surprising. Number one, I was jealous of her time. You might think that since I got to spend so much time with my wife, that being jealous of her time would be the least of my concerns. That isn't always the case, because when she first immigrated, she used a ton of time, for Facebook, like maybe at one point up to 4 hours a day, especially at night. It's understandable she wants to stay in contact with her family, and I want her to do that, but there are times when I ask myself, why does it bother me so much? We spent like 4 hours a day communicating with each other in the Philippines, on Skype. And I know a guy at work thought we were overdoing it. Why he said, don't you talk 10 or 15 minutes, 3 times a week? Well, I can't even say hi in that amount of time. I'm more talkative, and there's so much to learn. And I wanted to get married fast, so we talked quite a bit, and part of me kind of expected that to keep happening once she got here, but I've seen that's a little bit unrealistic. As you know, I've been dealing with this stupid cough for about a year now, 12 months. So I'm just practically drinking this stuff, Robitussin. Nothing seems to help. The doctors don't seem to know what to do, but I got to keep plowing through these videos. So my jealousy of my wife. What I tell myself is that my marriage to her is unlike marrying somebody from my own country, America. Same nationality, same culture, same age. It's only reasonable that she would want to hear her voice of her family, hear the voice of her family, and see them on Skype. It makes sense that she would message her friends as well. She's not just leaving her family, but she's leaving all the friends. When we were in the Philippines recently, we sat at a whole table of friends that she had from elementary school, and they were still friends, so obviously she misses them too. My wife is so far from home that I must give her all the time she needs. Also, I love her very much, and I want what's best for her, and I want my wife to be happy. I remind myself how absolutely thrilled I am to wake up with her each day. Well, almost each day. There's now and then she'll work overtime on a different shift at night because she gets along with them better, and I don't want her working extra hours with people she doesn't like. So out of my love for her, I do allow her to do that now and then, and it's just a sacrifice I think I should make for her. If my wife wants to work more overtime than I'd like her to, she reminds me that she's a good cook, good homemaker, good lover, all very true, and she's a good friend. My wife is a wife to me in the ways that I needed her to be, so I need to not be selfish. I need to give her plenty of space. I am also jealous of her attention. Certainly this has similarity to the first point, but is maybe the other side of the coin, jealous for her time. I assumed that when I drove her to work with me, this was back before her hours changed, that we would talk during that 20-plus minute drive, and we did talk a little bit, but often, she would check in with her family on Facebook, because it was early evening at that time when we were going to work early in the morning. So she'd check in with them on Facebook while we were driving, and especially so when her new little niece came into her life. We both enjoy talking to her niece, even though she can't understand a word we say, but she is so sweet and cute. A Filipina isn't just going to forget about her family when she's with me here in America. I don't want to give her the impression that she should. My wife is not a morning person like I am and doesn't talk nearly as much, so it can be easy for me to interpret her silence as not being in touch with me or on an emotional level or something, but I don't think that's what it is. I might want her to be more talkative to me when she's with me, but that's unfair to her. She's simply not as talkative as I am. She's amazed at how some of the guys at work talk and talk and talk. I try to remind my wife that growing up I wanted to be a sportscaster. So those people that are in television or radio, they like to talk, and they talk all the time. They talk for their job, and they talk when they're not working. Some people are just talkers. Frankly, she probably liked that a little bit in me when we got married, but after a while realizes, yeah, this guy likes to talk a lot. So maybe without thinking about it, I've toned it down a little bit. But that's about all there is with jealousy on my part, and I would bet you'll feel the same way when you're with your Filipina. You've heard so much about the Filipina, her beauty and her ability to make a great wife, and want to spend a lot of time with her. Don't forget that she used to be thousands of miles away and has a lot of adapting to do. So, I could be jealous of my wife's youth or her intelligence or her skills, but I'm not. I'm just thrilled that my wife is my helper and my lover. She is an answer to a long prayer. I'm not jealous of her just in those two ways, maybe her time and her attention. And speaking of jealousy, I know some guys at work are jealous of me. They can see that my wife is an amazing woman, beautiful, with character, and I just love that she has such character and a pleasant personality. I mean, what more could a guy want? My wife probably would be jealous if somebody else liked me and furious if I liked them. I don't think that's going to happen. When you find the Filipina of your dreams, you shouldn't even be tempted to show interest in another woman. I can take my Filipina out of the Philippines, and I did, but I can't take the Philippines out of my Filipina. It isn't realistic of me to expect her to give me her attention all the time. She does need her own friends and interests. I think having unrealistic expectations of time and attention could lead to anger, which could lead to worse. So I must be thankful I have a Filipina wife who makes my life so much better, and just leave it at that. So I have to admit I am jealous of sometimes of the time and attention of my love beyond the sea.